Vegas is the best and most convenient location to have your bachelorette party or any girls trip if you live in the US on the West Coast. Let me explain my reasoning. This is just my opinion, so relax. If you're on the West Coast or anywhere really, all these options are great, but let me tell you why Vegas is the best and why these other places just don't compare. Starting off with the obvious, these are amazing locations, okay? Don't get me wrong, Mykonos, Saint-Tropez, Ibiza, Amalfi, who wouldn't want to go here? But unless your girl group has no budget, don't do this. Have you ever traveled with a cheap person? I'm not talking about a person who can't afford things. That's different. Specifically someone who can afford things but is cheap. It's a nightmare. If you go to any of these locations or really anywhere in Europe and you're from the West Coast and one of your friends just doesn't want to spend money, you're looking for problems. You're gonna come back not friends. Mexico is a great option. So many cities to choose from. You got Cabo, Cancun, Tulum, so many more. And while you have to be careful in every city, it's especially dangerous in some parts of Mexico, especially if you don't speak the language. Let's say you're staying at a beautiful resort, but you want to go out and explore the city at midnight, but your maid of honor is a paranoid queen and she refuses to leave the resort. People have different comfort levels, especially when it comes to leaving the country. The same can be said for any of these places. If you're leaving the country and you don't speak the language, you gotta make sure that you know how comfortable your girls are exploring the land. And God forbid you get lost somewhere. Miami is a great girls trip bachelorette destination. But if you're on the West Coast, you gotta travel to the East Coast, so that's already less convenient than going to Vegas. Also, I would say Miami and Vegas are very comparable. Girls are getting things for free in these cities, which is amazing. But my problem with Miami is everything is far from each other. Not everything, but the restaurant you're going to might be 30 or 45 minutes away from the club you're headed to. Whereas Vegas, if you're staying on this trip, everything is more centralized. Also, I'm just gonna be so honest, I don't feel as hot in Miami as I do in Vegas. That could just be my own insecurities, and that's okay. I've never been to Nashville, but I've been dying to go. But my problem is, I'm Middle Eastern, and while I'm probably gonna love Nashville, I don't know if Nashville's gonna love me. I'm not a blonde white girl. Sorry, that's like such a generalization. Again, I've never been, but I do feel like Nashville probably caters to a specific type of girls group. Don't get me wrong, I'm dying to go. I wanna see all the Taylor Swift stuff. But again, it's not gonna compare to Vegas. If you're on the West Coast, Vegas is like a 1-hour flight, or you could even drive there if you're really on a budget. If you have players cards at the casino, you could literally get hotel rooms for free. Girls get pretty much everything for free in Vegas. That includes comp dinners, entry to the clubs, bottle service, and it's not even just about not paying for stuff. It just makes you feel good. Like, I'm that cute that I don't need to pay for anything. It's an ego booster. Also, like I said, everything is very centralized if you're staying on this trip. If your group doesn't really party, there's just so much cool stuff like shows, performances, Cirque du Soleil, concerts, residencies, pole dancing classes. There's just like a lot of stuff that you don't really find in other cities. Let me know what you think.